Well, with Joe Biden on the cusp of clinching the White House, some political analysts say the fresh US leadership will likely see a return to the so-called glory days of the transatlantic relationship. The once strong US-European alliance has taken a hit during Donald Trump's reign, with disagreements over policy issues, sanctions, security and trade. He also supported Brexit and denounced the EU as an enemy. Washington and Brussels have also disagreed over how to handle the coronavirus pandemic. Well, for more on this, let's cross over to Brussels. We can speak to our correspondent, Shona Murray. Shona, good evening to you. What is the current feeling in Brussels as they look over the Atlantic and they can see that Joe Biden is just edging ahead in some of these crucial states?
Well, obviously it's been touch and go for the past few days, Oliver, so commissioners, officials are quite reticent to speak on the record about the situation. We've heard from Commissioner Gentiloni, the Economics Commissioner, who said that the only thing that matters is that EU-US relations strengthen so they can tackle the global issues of today, global warming and, of course, the coronavirus. But we did hear from Heiko Maas, the German Foreign Affairs Minister, who said today that a decent winner is better for democracy than a decent loser is better for democracy than a glorious winner. And he also made the point that those that are putting fuel on the fire in the situation in the United States are being irresponsible. He obviously, was referring to Donald Trump because the GOP are the only ones who are contesting the election. But I think really the feeling here is in Brussels that there's no expectation that the EU-US relations will get back to the glory days per se, but at least Brussels can expect 4 years where there's not as much hostility from the United States. You mentioned there at the start there, Oliver, Donald Trump supported Brexit, which is not good for the EU, but I also spoke to Mick Mulvaney, who's Donald Trump's former chief of staff, yesterday, and he admitted that Donald Trump doesn't like the EU, doesn't like multilateralism, and the reason why it's because smaller states and smaller countries can get a better deal than the United States through multilateralism, and that really doesn't comply with Donald Trump's America First policy. So I think they're waiting with bated breath to see if Joe Biden takes the presidency.
Because on the surface, it does seem that there is more things that the EU will have in common with Joe Biden, even if you just look at the fact that the EU has a green policy, which it is trying to tout for the future, and Joe Biden is also touting something similar if he gets the keys for the White House.
That's 100%. I mean, first and foremost, look at the fact that Joe Biden was the vice president when they negotiated the JCPOA, the Iran deal. The EU is the guardian of the Iran deal and has been trying to piece it back together ever since Donald Trump walked away from it at the start of his presidency. Similarly, Joe Biden has been supportive of action against global warming. Maybe too slow for most people, but at least he believes in the science. And similarly, the EU has an ambition to be carbon neutral by 2050. In general, the Democrats and Joe Biden are much more for multilateralism and working together with traditional allies, whereas Donald Trump was the exact opposite. His America First policy was really about zero-sum game. Joe Biden isn't the same in that way at all. So I think that they can expect much more engagement in a positive level with Joe Biden, in particular around COVID and any other issue, any other global issue when it comes to peace and security as well, something that, again, Donald Trump moved away from. So again, just to say, I don't think anyone's naive here in Brussels that the relations would be like they were 10 or 20 years ago, but that there won't be the type of hostility they've experienced for the past 4 years under this White House. Oliver?
Shona Murray joining us here from the Belgian capital. Thank you very much indeed.